Hello, and welcome to Secrets from Athletes, where we dive into what makes a top athlete and how you can apply their routines and mindset to your own life. I'm your host, Andre Schall, and today with me I have Ethan Brown, a Division One football player at Princeton University. How are you doing today, Ethan?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you for being on.
Of course.
So, first question: how'd you get into football, and what made you stick with it?
So how I got into football. Um, one of the first pictures that was taken of me when I was a child was a picture of me propped up with a football. So basically, out the womb, my dad just had a picture of me with the football, and that's kind of been my life ever since. My mom has countless videos of me dressing up in like Virginia Tech gear and like little shoulder pads and whatnot before I could even, play tackle football and whatnot. Yeah, that's kind of how I got into football. So, ever since 4 years old, I've been playing flag, and then 5 years old, I started playing tackle. So, yeah, it's been a while, been a long time, long journey.
So it's been like a lifelong passion for you.
But yeah, absolutely. Since day one, my dad has always wanted me to, the end goal is to be an NFL player and whatnot. So I would always, or he would always take time out of his day to help me, whether it be like teaching me how to lift weights or doing drills with me or, different things like that, like the little things. So I am really appreciative of that. And so, yeah, it has been a really just a lifelong journey thus far.
Was there a specific point where you're like, I want to do this Division One, I want to go forward with this?
So I want to say like my second year in the tackle football. So I would say when I was about 6 or 7 years old, maybe a little bit later, I decided that football was the sport for me. When I first started playing football, I just like tackle football. I didn't really have a clue in the world what I was doing. Just running around on the football field, just having a good time and whatnot. Um, but then my dad started taking over the coaching position of my youth league team, and so once he started doing that, he put me a running back. Favoritism, whatever, but it ended up working out great, and that was like some of the best football memories I've ever had. Is just having my dad there, um, on the sidelines, being my coach and telling me what I need to do better and the things that I did well. So, really from then on, I kinda just stuck with football, and then, I was playing other sports at the time, like basketball, um, soccer, baseball, all those different kinds of activities that you get your kid involved into when they're younger, just to see what their passions may be, but I always stuck with football, so by the time I got to middle school, I stopped playing basketball, stopped doing swimming, stopped doing baseball, and then football was just my go-to. And then I did complement it with track. I've been doing track since I was about like 8 years old or so, and I just stopped after high school, just recently. Um, so the two kind of went hand in hand, but one was always to benefit the other, and vice versa. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. That like kind of cross training. So,
hmm
what's the best piece of advice someone has given you from football?
The best piece of advice that I've gotten from um one of my friend's dads, he was an NFL player, and we just kinda had, like, a conversation, and one thing that he told me that really stuck with me was that he said, "The NFL stands for not for long." So, a lot of guys in the league, they say that, NFL means not for long, and basically what that's saying is that, football is gonna end one day, like it does for everybody. Nobody can stay in the sport for the rest of their lives. I imagine, like, if you were to ask, people who have played, people who are playing, I believe that they would say that they wish that they could play for, the rest of their lives, basically, but, um in short, football's gonna end one day, so you have to make sure that you are approaching life, with the mindset of having a backup plan after football, was kinda like the most important thing that was talked about to me, and then my parents have tried to express to me is like, um once football ends, you don't wanna be just relying on the money that you made, preferably from the NFL and whatnot. You wanna be able to stand on your own 2 feet, have a successful career, have a good job, this, that, and the other, just to, not to say that the NFL money won't be enough, but, you know, just to have money so that you are comfortable. You don't have to worry about, certain, aspects of life that may come up, you know, and like just how things are getting more and more expensive nowadays. You just want to make sure that you are in a good position in life. So that's one piece of advice that was really stuck with me and influenced my decisions on, where to go to college and this, that, and the other. So yeah.
Yeah. So you were talking about future jobs. What are you going to study at Princeton?
So initially I was going to do mechanical engineering, and looking through my like the course requirements for mechanical engineering, having to fit that in with football. It's if I was going to Princeton just to be a student, I would be like, all in, hands down, mechanical engineering is what I would like to do. But when I feel like I'm kind of in a different mindset because I want to go to the NFL as well. Um so the balance that I'm trying to find is taking a major that's not gonna drive me crazy to the point where my football performance is interfered by my school performance or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I have decided to do computer science with a minor in robotics. And I just felt like computer science would be a better field for me because I took AP computer science in high school. Computer programming has always been a passion of mine. Um, and I've been, and the robotics piece just comes from, um, kind of like the hands-on side of myself. I like to build Legos and different things like that. Um, and go and I used to go during the summer to like robotics camps and this, that, and the other. So I feel like that's going to be a really good avenue for me to go down because it really is a passion for me. So when people say you want to find a job that you love, so I love robotics and you know hands-on activities and whatnot. So that's kind of what influenced me to pick that major and minor.
That's awesome with all that's I also love the Legos. Just this
Mhm.
quick show. I got a few there.
Yeah.
So, speaking of balance, because you're talking about balancing football and your major, how did you
Mhm.
balance sports, school, and life during high school without burning out?
Man, that's
Man,
a
that's
eh,
a
it's just bringing back old memories and whatnot. So, I will say that there were definitely periods of burnout. Like, there were periods in time where I didn't think that I would be able to continue on uh, with how things were going in school and this, that, and the other. And also, as I made my decision in football, the requirements that Princeton had, like the academic standards that I had to maintain in order to get into the school. So I want to say that a big piece of um, advice on how I was able to balance everything was eventually I learned the importance of time management. I think that that's like one of the most important things that somebody has to understand when they go to college and in life in general. It's just a great life skill to have. Time management will save you a lot of stress. Also, proactiveness, like reaching out to your teachers for help, because I used to be one of those kids who believed that I could do things on my own. And that was true for the most part. But some things that I needed help on, I didn't speak up and I didn't say, hey, I need help. I didn't go to office hours, and then my grade was a reflection of that. Thankfully, I was able to, climb out of the hole that I put myself in from, not being proactive, not having good time management, and this, and that, and the other. And so, those are kind of like the two main things that I would say help me to you know, uh, get a balance with school and football and everything. And I just say football in general is a great time management device because your time is structured for you. You know what time you have practice, you know what time you leave practice, you know what time you go home, and all these different things. You know what time that you have to wake up, and and you're not just left with an abundance of free time. I think the thing that hurt me the most in terms of uh being able to balance everything was the fact that, um, on the second half of the school year, when my senior year when I wasn't in football and I didn't have mandatory workouts and whatnot because technically I wasn't a part of the football program anymore. I just had an abundance of free time. And so that free time, if you use it wisely, it could be to your benefit, absolutely, hands down. But some days I would choose to use it wisely, other days I wouldn't. And, it just made my journey all the much harder than what it had to be. But, prayerfully, like going into Princeton, uh, I've learned from my mistakes and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. So,
Yeah, that's one thing I love about sports is it kinda structures my day. Because sometimes
yeah.
I do the same thing, I kinda just let it get away from me, but that's
Mhm.
really awesome.
Absolutely.
So back to football itself. What's your kinda pregame or yeah, pregame ritual that gets you kinda locked in? Do you do something similar for other big events, like maybe a big test, stuff like that?
So I will have to say that kind of like my rituals for football in school are a little bit different. I would say that I put more emphasis into football, like my pregame and whatnot, than into school. I feel like school, the ritual that I have is just like, just studying, reviewing in the car on the way to school, or, reviewing up to the test, memorizing certain things. So I will say my school, I will say my school ritual isn't as exciting as my football ritual, but yeah, just putting in the time at school, studying all that, everything that we normally do to prepare for big tests and whatnot. But football ritual, uh definitely listening to music. Listening to music is just my go-to thing. It's so once I have all of my shoulder pads and stuff on or as I'm getting dressed, I just listen to music. Um, just feel the vibe. And so I have my playlist is very diverse of different things. So I just shuffle through there and see what I like to play. Some of my favorite people to listen to Kendrick Lamar, Big X the Plug, and among others. But in high school, how it was kind of structured is there would be one group that went out before everybody else. And we called it like the specialist group, and they were kind of like the quarterbacks, the snappers, holders, kickers, all of them, and they would just go and do their warm up and get prepped. Probably I would say 15 minutes before we came out, like the rest of the team came out. So once that first group left the locker room, that's when I would kind of transition um, my music taste into gospel music. So I would listen to a few gospel songs, Kirk Franklin, all those people, before my games, and I always made it a priority to do so, just because me personally, God is a big part of my life. Since as early as I can remember, I was in the church. My parents always are explaining to me the importance of keeping God in your life. And, just as a testament to everything that He's done for me, where I'm at in my life is not by my own strength, but by His. So I always make sure to, get a few gospel songs in there. And especially prayer. Praying is like a big thing, before my games as well. But I will just say that the things that I do before games aren't a reflection of the things that I do during the week in preparation for it. So I always say that like a game isn't just, you show up on game day, just like, the importance of practice, it's all preparation for the game, as well as it is, as much as it is physical, it's also mental. So, from the day after the game going into the next week, you get your mind right on the next opponent, but it's also, just building yourself up in that spiritual sense of just, not just asking God to help you perform well on game day, but also in practice, in meetings, and just doing in the weight room and doing the little things right along the way. So, yeah.
Is that saying, like, the game isn't exactly won on the day it's played, but in the days leading up to it,
But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because from what I found is the harder you practice, or at least for me, what I saw true is the harder I practice, the better I did in game. And it's very difficult to do that every single week. You can do it week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, but when it gets to week 12, you're tired, your body's run down. So it's really just about the mental is just as important as the physical in football. They both go hand in hand. So um, I will say that, the overall game is dependent on everybody. But I would say for me personally, being a defensive lineman, your matchup is won by what you do in practice and what you do mentally that week beforehand.
So talking about all of these like the toll of a season takes and pushing through it mentally and physically, what's one of the challenges you've faced in your sport and how did you push through it?
One of the challenges that I faced, I would say the biggest one, and it was my recruitment in the sport of football. So, junior year, kind of like the end of your junior year, the end of the season is most of the time when kids get offers and different things like that. And they get recruited by different schools and whatnot. And so initially, my parents and I were like apprehensive of the whole process because I didn't really get to play that much my junior year. I was behind uh 2 or 3 other defensive linemen in my position. They were seniors and whatnot, and so I didn't really get that much time to play. So my highlight tape, end of the year highlight tape, was only 2 to 3 minutes long. A good highlight tape, is really like 5 or 6 minutes or something like that. So it was definitely like a worry for me and my family. But thankfully I was able to accumulate, 26 total offers. And so the biggest hurdle that I had to face in my football career thus far was choosing. And there was more to it than just picking um, the best football school. Because one thing that I had to learn over time with people just saying it to me, like experienced players, people who play this game, coaches, this, that, and the other. It's that if you're good enough, they will find you. And what that means is that if you are exceeding at the level of football that you're playing, if your dream is to go to the NFL, they're going to make a way to find you. There are countless stories of kids who have gone from D2, D3, who are in the NFL doing great things. And the same is true for Division 1, but not just like normal Division 1, like Group of 5, FCS, FBS players there. The countless stories of kids just overcoming certain obstacles. So the biggest obstacle that I had to grasp in my head was just understanding that, even though Princeton might not be the highest level of football that you got offered by, it's more than just, picking the biggest school with the biggest name to football. You know, it's about kind of like the question that you asked me earlier, knowing that football doesn't last forever. So my thought process is when I finally picked Princeton is I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting a great education. I'm getting coaches that care about me. And if I really want it bad enough, the work is on me to get to the NFL. My coaches can do everything that they possibly can. My parents can do everything they possibly can. But at the end of the day, it's up to me personally to go hard every day in the weight room, stay consistent, stay disciplined, and do the little things right, and then make it to the NFL. So, uh, I really tell myself like the only thing that can stop me from achieving my goals is myself. So, um, and that's just kind of something that I just had to learn over the years is that, um, all the hard work and different things that I do, it can all be, for naught if I'm just not focused on the right things. So, definitely knowing that if you're good enough, they will find you is the biggest obstacle.
That's a really cool kind of way to put it, like that regardless of a level, if you exceed it, you're going to get there. On this note, what separates good athletes from great ones in your opinion? Do you think this is similar to successful people outside of sports?
But yeah, absolutely. I think the um the one word that can separate good athletes from great athletes is consistency. You see a lot of good athletes. Um, one Sunday they're on, the other Sunday they're off, another Sunday they're like kind of in the middle, but when you talk about people who are great in their respective sports in general and in life, entrepreneurs, different things like that, is their consistency, their willingness to not give up. And so uh, it's easier said than done to come into the facility every day and give your best effort as well as in the classroom. It gets exhausting. You can do it for a month, but try 2 months. You could do it for week one, but try week 12. So it's really just a matter of consistency and also having a level of discipline in your mind and knowing that, you know, what you want in life has to be worked for. It has to be worked for. Nothing is ever given to you. You always have to work for it. You always have to, strive to be the best at everything that you do. And that's how, you see um successful athletes like Aaron Donald, like Michael Phelps, like Usain Bolt, all of these people who like LeBron James and all these other people who have um followed in their footsteps or have carved their own path by themselves, who we also consider great, whether it be in sports or in the job world or, you know, is that they had a consistent and disciplined mindset every single day. And you can find things from them all over the internet where they talk about like the hardest thing was like showing up consistently, and that's like a big word that everybody just throws around is consistency, but it's one thing to say it and it's another thing to do it. When you're actually actively trying to be consistent and be the best every single day, you see why being great is so difficult. Like, and so all this build up, from middle school, high school, college, and then eventually when you're out in the real world, it's all a build up to, over the years to see how consistent you were. And my coach, one of my coaches at Gonzaga, Coach Young, he gave me this really good quote one time. He said, "The moment knows." So when you're faced with that moment, whether it be making a tackle, making scoring a touchdown, um, or even in the job world like sealing a big deal or something like that, the moment knows how hard you have worked. So God knows how hard you've worked, so it's a matter of judgment. Do you deserve this opportunity? Did you put in the work for this opportunity? Did you do everything that you possibly could, not only to get there but to make sure that you have, a great chance of getting it done, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? So yep.
Yeah, absolutely. That reminds me, there's this, I forget who said this quote, but it's given 100% like every day, even if that's like you have 10%, you give that 10%. And it's
But
like
yeah.
that consistency doing it day after
Yeah.
day. So overall, what are your kind of future plans in Princeton and after that?
So,
So
future plans. So definitely, I've talked about it a lot over the course of the interview, whatnot. NFL, really big part of my life. That's always been a lifelong goal of mine. But also using that Princeton degree, putting that Princeton degree to good use. You know, the name Princeton carries a lot of weight in the job world and just in general. So, not being kind of being proactive with my degree and after prayerfully a long healthy and successful NFL career, I'll be able to put that degree to good use to uh prayerfully better the world that we live in, because it's always another dream of mine is to just help people in general. I like to think of myself as like a kind person, and I always just like helping people. It's just something about helping people that it's just a feeling that you can't explain, especially when you do it not for like, money and different things like that, but just through pure kindness. Um, so those are probably my plans, my future plans for after college and whatnot.
those are awesome. I wish you all the luck with those.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And so what's the funniest story you've heard from football?
I gotta think real quick. So my friend, funniest story from football. So, my mom always tells me this story. So I was in my sophomore year, uh, and I was probably like 6'1", 230 pounds, my sophomore year, and playing against people like the Mathiga Council, people in the WCAC in general. Uh, for a defensive lineman, 6'1", 230, that's pretty small and whatnot. So My mom tells me the story how um we were playing Dematha, and Dematha had this one gigantic tackle. I think he was like 6'6", 330 pounds. He plays for South Carolina now. And and my parents were sitting close to the end zone. So we were close to the end zone. Dematha was driving out of the end zone, and my parents were sitting, in the stands, um probably 15 yards away. So they were able to see everything. And so I didn't really get to play that much that game. So I was a sophomore. I was still trying to grow and develop and whatnot. And so my coach told me to go in the game, told me to go in the game and go on the same side as the gigantic tackle. And so
Why?
I kid you not, that was like the one time in my football career where I was actually like scared. Like I was actually I was very scared. So I lined up, like you're supposed to line up pretty close to him, you know what I'm saying? So you can just stop the run if it's a run and then transition to pass if it's a pass. And I lined up probably like 5 yards off the ball, almost linebacker depth. I was that scared. And when the ball snapped, I came off the ball and I was running towards him. It ended up being a pass. So I was gonna do like a move on him or something like that. And I just remember he took one step and kind of just stuck his arm out and just grabbed me like with one hand, just grabbed me, just locked me up and just stood me up like right there. And I was just like, as soon as he locked me up, I ain't even try. I didn't try anymore. I was just like, you got it, you got it. So uh no, and so my parents, every time they tell that story, they just like laugh about it because you just see like this, 6'1" kid, and then you see this big 6'6" kid, and then he just grabs me like this, and man, that was one of the toughest games I've ever played in my life. I mean, it's just, yeah, yeah. So,
He got you so scared you were moving back towards the linebacker, trying to switch
but
position.
yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely. Sophomore me couldn't handle that, but I could now. But sophomore me still learning the game of football and trying to be better. So, yeah.
So now on to the 10 blitz questions. These are just going to be shorter, quicker, kind of more fun. You can answer them in a few words, one word, stuff like that. So, first one, would you rather stay in at home or go out to just like a restaurant, things like that?
Well, definitely at home. I would say I'm a homebody in general. If I have to avoid going out, I kind of do. Here and there, I like to get out and whatnot with friends, but um, no, my preference is definitely like staying home. Yeah.
All right. Favorite cheat meal?
Hot, probably wings. I like wings a lot. Yeah, wings are good. Like I get mild buffalo. It's pretty basic, but it's like classic. So I get those probably like 15. It's good. It's good for
Man,
a
you
cheat.
got me hungry now. What's your
Yeah.
favorite what's your favorite wing place?
So there's this place right by my house, probably like 5 minutes away. It's called Wing Factory, and they have some of the best wings I've ever tasted. Uh, Best cheesesteak too. I tried their cheesesteak. Their cheesesteak is amazing, and they have like this brownie ice cream dessert thing that I get sometimes. It's good. That's good.
All right.
Good.
Wing Factory, I'm writing that down.
Food.
All right. Favorite season of a year?
Probably winter. Um, yeah, just because there's a lot in winter. Um, Christmas and different things like that. I'm a big like my favorite holiday is Christmas. Just because of the memories that I've had as a kid from Christmas. My parents have always tried to make Christmas special for me, and also just because I don't really like winter from like a playing like a football standpoint. I don't really like playing football in the winter. If I had a preference, I would definitely play it in the summer. But I don't know. It's just like kind of like the vibe of winter is just I like it when
Yeah, I'm
it's
with you there. I love the
yeah,
snow.
yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh man. Ah, this is Out of all the questions in the interview, this one might be the hardest. Um, Probably there's so many great movies that I love, but probably Avatar.
Avatar,
Yeah, like
the
the
first
first
one.
Avatar was I think one of the earliest movies that I watched as a kid. It came out not too long after I was born. So, um yeah, I always just remember like that was kind of like my first introduction to movies, and I don't know, it was a great movie back then, still is now.
Yeah,
Uh
it's still
so
an
yeah.
awesome movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you rather have teleportation or invisibility as a power?
Teleportation. Just cuz I don't really like driving that much. I drive when I have to drive.
Mhm.
If I had the preference of driving, it depends on the circumstance. Definitely avoid driving in DC. But,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I think the thought of just being able to go anywhere in, like, a second is just so cool. Um, I could go to Hawaii, I can go, wherever I want, just a split second, don't have to pay for a ticket, plane ticket, and all that, so
Ooh, I didn't think about it that way. That's
yeah,
smart.
yeah.
What's your favorite song? You mentioned artists like Kendrick Lamar, Big X, The Plug. Do you have like a specific song you really like?
Probably "They Don't Know" by Big X the Plug, I think, or no, "Leave Me Alone" by Big X the Plug. I remember that was I was hooked on that song for a good year, a good year. I liked that song when it came out. I just listened to it a lot. Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
would say that that's probably like one of my most listened songs in my life that I've listened to like constantly. But I kind of phased out of it now. But just thinking about like if I did have to pick one, it would probably be that, just because
All
I
right.
listened to that song so many times.
All right. So, what sport would you play other than football?
If I had like the ability to be good at another sport,
Yeah.
I I like a lot. Okay, so people wouldn't say that this is like some people don't classify this as a sport, but I do because it takes like a tremendous amount of concentration, reflexes, all that. I would be a Formula One driver.
All right.
I love Formula One. My dad has been a big fan of Formula One, and I just started getting into it recently. And I just think those guys are so cool. Like outside of the US, because like the most popular sport in the US is like football, baseball, one of those. But they're like top three: football, basketball, baseball. Those sports are kind of like the most popular in the US. Outside of the US, it's crazy to see how much of an influence Formula One has. Like just in general, I thought it was kind of like people didn't really know what the sport was, but as I started getting, deeper into the sport, I realized that, people go to war over Formula One and like who their favorite driver is, the greatest driver of all time, and different things like that. Like my dad hates it when uh I tell him that Lewis Hamilton is washed and I say Max Verstappen is better. He throws a fit every single time. I do that to get under his skin. But yeah, so I would be a Formula One driver if I could pick a different sport.
What's your favorite team?
Favorite team, uh, Red Bull.
Red Bull.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm a Red Bull fan. It started off being a joke because my dad hated Red Bull, because, when Lewis was at Mercedes, they would just be constantly battling and, Max would win most of the time. So it started off as a joke to get under his skin, but then, like, eventually I actually started liking Red Bull. So so yeah, I'm a proud Red Bull fan.
All right. I'm a proud Haas fan. We're getting there.
Wow, wow, Haas, okay. Yeah.
All right. Next question. In one game, would you rather have 8 sacks or 2 pick sixes as a lineman?
Pick 6.
Pick
I
six.
I just think yeah, I think that pick sixes are, like as a defensive lineman, that's so crazy, like, having a pick six, that's like some people don't even do that in their entire football careers, like through middle school to NFL and, to the end of their careers. So I think that that's just crazy. Like two pick sixes. I mean, like it would just be so wild to go on like Instagram the next day and just see
Yeah.
your face on all these sports pages and be like two pick sixes, like this guy like just got it's just be it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see that and to just experience that. And I feel like people like pick sixes a lot more when they're from like bigger people. You know? So yeah, I would end up on like a highlight reel on YouTube or something, like top
Yeah.
5 lineman pick sixes of all time.
And you can say, I scored 14 points in one NFL game by myself.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And the last question, what's your favorite NFL team?
Dallas Cowboys.
All
I'm not
right.
proud I'm not proud of that one as of recently. Um, but yeah, I am a Cowboys fan. I really can't tell you why it started, but I've always liked the Cowboys since I was like 2
All
or
right.
so. Like, my parents are Steelers fans. Both of them are Steelers fans. My mom more so than my dad. My dad kind of just picks a team for the season and then
Mhm.
just goes with it and follows them, whatever. Um, but I really can't tell you why I decided to become a Cowboys fan, but it just happened. And I have a cowboy comforter on my bed, like cowboy pillows. Uh I got a Cowboys blanket too. Like I don't know why like a Cowboys fan, but I am. So got to stay true, good times and bad.
This is your guys' year?
No, uh, I don't, I don't know about that one, but we can hope. But I don't know if it's
Yeah.
going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah,
much, Ethan. And
of
thank you
course.
all for tuning in to Secrets from Athletes. Make sure to follow the Instagram at secrets_from_athletes. We'll be back in a week with more secrets from athletes to help you refine your mindset and routines.